grow and evolve.
It's
in many
so
different
important
ways.
because you can't think clearly, or that dominates so much of your
Exactly.
headspace and your bandwidth of I've got to lose weight, or I'm feeling sluggish, or I'm always tired. I hear that from so many people as a life coach. They come in, I can't get it accomplished. I can't retain what I read. I'm sluggish.
Right.
I need naps, and that's because they're not eating right or
Yes.
exercising.
Yes, yeah. There's some basic things, as we exercise, eat right, your sleep, get the proper amount of sleep, those types of things. It's easy to feel like, and I'm guilty of this as well, as being an athlete, but also an entrepreneur, and kind of like, oh, I got to fit everything into a million things a day, work crazy long hours and all that sort of stuff. Which sometimes that's what it takes to, accomplish big things. But also, we also need to recover sometimes. We also need to give ourselves that space and that self-care to say, hey, I'm actually going to be more productive tomorrow and the rest of this week if I take care of myself, each little bit along the way as well. So having that self-care in that wellness space, I think, is really important. And sometimes that feels like, to take the 10 minutes a day to sit on a mat and meditate with your eyes closed, or to take that 30-minute walk. You might feel like, oh, well, I could be in front of my computer working that time instead. But actually, you might find that by taking that break, that the time in front of the computer or the rest will be more productive, and thus you'll get more out of less amount of time.
Yeah, I have an app called Got 7 Minutes where 3 or 4 times during the day it says got 7 minutes. That means I have to stop whatever I'm doing, go meditate, go walk, or go do sit-ups or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if you break it up even like that, that's something, and do something 20 minutes in the morning and the late afternoon.
I couldn't agree more.
It's doable. It's
For
just
sure.
the mindset. It's
course.
just the mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
So I really Googled you because I was fascinated with you. I'm like, another video. Now, why wasn't he happy with 1? Why does he have to do 7? And why the bigger goal? But I get it, and I admire it so much, because people today just don't strive to push themselves to the limits, and it really does do something, and it shifts you, and then you have such a voice to really shift the consciousness of the world because people listen to you. And I think when you do something like that, you do change.
Yes.
There is something inside you that changes. And that's a great feeling too. But I want to know, what does it feel like on a day when you're not having a good day, you're not working out, or you're depressed? You have to be depressed sometimes.
Of course, yeah.
So what are those days like for you, and how do you handle them?
I think that, someone like myself who has ultimately had some success in my life, there's sometimes an outward perception of like, oh, well, you must have it all figured out. Like every day must be great for you. And I think that I have some things figured out, but just like you alluded to, of course, I have my moments, right? I have my moments when my mindset does shift to more negative, or I have my doubts, or I have that negative, voice in my head. Where I think as humans we're programmed for a little bit of that. The way that I approach that is, I think self-awareness is really important. I think it's easy to get sort of trapped down that negative spiral, and I try to sit with myself and go like, oh wait, I'm having a bad day right now. Like, why is that? What's causing that? And maybe it's okay to sit with that for a second. Just be like, okay, like I'm not feeling great today. I don't have to pretend like I'm, having a great day. But kind of going back to that positive mindset shift, I believe that in life, we will all be tested with setbacks and obstacles. For me, in a large sense, was this burn accident. But in every just day-to-day things, people aren't returning my phone call, or I'm having a bad conversation with my fiance, or whatever it is. We have those moments, and I think that it's about recognizing that and then realizing that that's not permanent. So I have a mantra that I like to say to myself, which is, "This too will change." And that's true of good things as well as bad things, right? But the sort of impermanence of life gives me freedom to feel that emotion, be self-aware of it, say, I'm having a bad day right now, or I'm walking in the middle of Antarctica and it's minus 40 degrees outside right now.
Oh my God, why would you do that to yourself?
But I like to say, like, this too will change. And when I think back on moments where I have overcome those darker moments, and I kind of calibrate that in my mind, I think of myself sitting in that wheelchair or sitting in that Thai hospital bed. And when I think back, if I had that mantra then, which was kind of when I was learning this about myself through that experience, to say like, this too will change. Like, now here I am, not only can I walk, but I can run, I can climb mountains, I set world records, but that voice in my head in that Thai hospital made it feel like it was so painful and so permanent. But as I recall in that moment, like, this too will change. And so I think that that's a powerful thing for any person to remember when going through a hard time of like, this might not change right now, this might not change tomorrow, this might not change in a year, but life is impermanent in a way that if you keep taking those steps, like I said, one step forward, or kind of chipping away at a little bit of positivity, before you know it, you'll tip that balance back into the positive mindset.